Go live. We are live. Welcome everyone to our Success Mastermind for Thursday, the 13th of January. John Lavenia here with you. My office is set up, Missy. That's it. Although I could use a little bit more furniture because it's a little echoey in here, kind of resonant. Can you guys hear me okay? I mean, the room is kind of like
fine. We hear you.
reverberant. I'm getting reverb. I need some foam padding and I need more furniture.
You're growing. You grow. It's a good sound. It's a good sound.
There you go. It's a big sound. Yes.
Put real plants in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a big leather couch with a fold out bed, right? So we can have guests. Janet, when are you showing up? Just let me know. And then we're going to and then I'm gonna get like some of the studio foam, although I see there's a lot of artistic foam now. Like you can get, artwork, beach scenes and rocks and everything else. And you can, and it's actual, acoustic foam to like kill the room. Cause you guys might not be able to hear it because I'm running a pretty decent mic, but yeah, this room is really reverberant. So, and I like good sound. Anyway, I'm glad to be here with you guys. I was just having a conversation with Missy just before we went live. So those of you who tuned in a little bit early, we were talking a little bit about guns, but in addition to that, we were also talking about getting stuff done in the morning. Since locating myself and my family to the Eastern time zone, which is a big shift for me. I've noticed that I've had a lot of opportunity to work later because I'm accustomed to, dealing with people in Australia and everything else in the time zones. And here I was in the West and now I'm in the East. And so just acclimating to that, but also getting up earlier is like getting up super early. Like Los Angeles is 3 hours behind me now, right? So I've been getting a lot of things, not necessarily work things, business things, okay, but more like just because of the condition I'm in with setting up house, getting things done in the morning before my daughter gets up and, before clients are on the calendar and all that. And so I was thinking about this as it relates to one of the books that I recommended to many of you, which is Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, which is a nice, simple approach to creating a daily method of operation. In other words, an approach to forming habits, whether or not we call them habits, but actually creating some structure and doing it on a gradient, like a little bit here, a little bit there, but doing it deliberately, nonetheless. And as the title of the book suggests, these are things you would do when you start your day. Miracle morning, right? It's not miracle, after lunch event or anything. It's miracle morning. Okay. But then the question is, well, when is your morning? Because we got people that obviously different time zones. I just experienced that. I'm acclimating to Eastern, but we've got people who, let's say your business is active at night, right? Perhaps that's your thing, right? So let's say, for example, if my primary, work actions were dealing with, let's say Australia during business hours, well, I'm going to be up all night, right? I'd be asleep right now. So just like they are. Okay. So that's something to consider. Is like, when is your morning? Because that is not necessarily stable for or consistent for each person, like 6 a.m. However, it has to be stable for you. So when we set up routines, and this will be our thoughts for today, kind of playing off what Ivier talked about yesterday with accountability and accountability partners. But when we set up routines, we should do so in a way that is sustainable for us without too much forcing. So one of the books that we recently read in our book study group was Atomic Habits. And if you recall, if you were in that book study, one of the things that he recommended was to make it attractive, like it's something you actually want to do. Another thing he said was make it easy. These were like his there were 4 pathways or 4 laws or whatever that he was kind of elucidating, and one of them was make it easy, right? So here's the question for each of us, and I'll ask myself as well. When are you going to do that thing consistently that you'll do every day? Great question. Now, in my case, and Adrian reminds me of this as well, and he reminded you all of it too, I think on Tuesday, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Or does Adrian call it a diary or something? Okay, well, he's got that British angle, whatever. Okay, so in my case, I use Apple Calendar, right? iCal or whatever it's called, built into the operating system, synchronizes with my iPhone. It's with me wherever I go. That works for me. Okay. What doesn't work for me is, oh crap, I'm supposed to meet with Bob and he's not on my calendar. That doesn't work for me. Okay. The other thing is, if we're putting in change right now, which some people have with the new year, right? You may decide on new routines and new resolve to do different things. But getting into that habit, whether we call it a habit or not, getting into that habit, I think requires a bit more conscious attention. It's not a habit yet, therefore, more conscious attention on deliberately doing it. So if we're going to be decisive and deliberate, well, then maybe it's time for us to, whatever the mechanics of it is, Apple Calendar, Outlook, paper, journals, whatever the mechanism is, it would be good to actually put that stuff down. Like when I was not in the habit of doing the morning call or something, right? I had to look on my calendar, oh, what's next, right? Just like, let's say if you were new to the whole idea of getting a gym membership or something, go to gym. Canon should be on the calendar. Study time, meditation, right? Back to the idea of miracle morning, right? Journaling or whatever, family time, that could be on there too if you tend to work a lot. Okay. But the point is that while we're developing these routines, we're going to probably have to revisit that decision consciously, revisit it, and remember that we made it. Okay. So that's one part of it. Okay. The other part of that, the whole idea of using the calendar, putting things down and being deliberate about it, is that when we can see it, and I've mentioned this before, when I can see something on paper, okay, let's say a to-do list. What's the point of a to-do list? Don't you already know what to do? Maybe. Okay, it's better than not knowing what to do. That kind of sucks, right? But knowing what to do is definitely good. But still, where is that? That's in your head. Okay, well, what if we put that down on paper? And I have to remember to do this because I forget. Because I'm just thinking, you know what? I don't have time for paper or put it. I'm just going to go ahead and start doing the thing that I know I need to do. I guess that's laudable, right? So I don't procrastinate once I know what to do. If I don't know what to do, well, then I can procrastinate with the best of them, right? I'm awesome. I'm an expert at it, right? It's called indecision. It works very good for getting nothing done. But if I know what to do, but it's all in my head, it's like mental baggage. It's taking up space in my head. It's all of these undones. So again, I think it would be therapeutic now that you know what to do, to actually write it down. And now you can see it objectively, not in here, but objectively. Look, there it is. It's ink on paper. That's an object, right? And it's no longer baggage that I'm carrying around. And my wife has reminded me to do this multiple times, like, oh, I got to do that. I got to do that. And what was that other thing? Oh, crap. What was the other thing? I got to write it down. And so the other gratifying part of this, of course, is checking things off, right? So there's an app for this as well. It's what's it called? Reminders, I think. I haven't used it much. Reminders. So I'm just talking about, as part of the Apple operating system, and you might be on Microsoft or using paper or whatever. But in that thing, so now it's not calendar items, right? It's not scheduled times. It's to-do lists, shopping list, or whatever, right? But you can check off each item and have it poof, have it vanish, or have it just sit there being checked off, and you could see how done it is, and you can revel in all of its doneness. That's therapeutic. The point is, the point is that if I'm carrying the world, including all my thoughts about it, it would be better for me to relieve myself of some of those considerations. Because look, the whole point of research and considerations and all the stuff that we all the thinkingness and learning, the whole point of it is to come to conclusions. So that's a done, right? A decision. When I get to the point where I've decided that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to hang the pictures today. In fact, I'm going to be hanging artwork today. It's going to be good. It's one of the final steps on the inside, right? And then we can get to the garage. And once I get that garage to the point where the car can park in it, man, now we're moved in, hey, I still got to get a couch for this room and some acoustic foam, but I'm going to hang the art today. So it's off, it's art. We got art all around the hallways, right? Like leaning against walls. And my wife and I are just going to go around. I'm going to have the hardware, the nails, screws, tools, whatever. She's going to like that one there. I'm going to level, right? Do that. And that's going to be another done. Okay. But it hasn't been done because it hasn't been a priority. Of course, you got to get these other things up first too, right? But I could put that on my list. And now it's more real for me. Not only is it not just taking up space in my head, but just like I said before, with scheduled items, if it's on my calendar, it exists. If it's not, I forgot to call Bob. Okay. So writing that stuff down, hang the pictures. Okay. So I'm going to do that. Like as soon as we're done here today, I'm going to make a to-do list. I talked last week about being, sort of frantic and having, finding the balance between stability and randomity, right? There's got to be a balance there. If everything's totally stable, nothing ever changes, I'm bored. If everything's totally random, then I can't handle it, right? It's my life is chaos, right? So somewhere in the middle, right there. So we're talking about, this is a balancing activity that we can do. And look, I hope I'm not just saying this for myself. I hope you're getting something out of this too. This is my reality. This is where I'm at. And I can tell you, it's terribly gratifying to be to the point now where I'm looking at pictures sitting, leaning against walls. Like that's my problem right now. Man, we're almost there. We're almost there. Okay. I got to gut the garage though. It is. Well, I'll give you guys the tour sometime. We'll do it maybe on a hospitality suite when everybody's just kicking back and doing whatever, if you guys want to show up for that, maybe tomorrow. Fun Fridays tomorrow, right? So maybe we can do some of that. How else? How else do we create order in our minds and in our lives? Sorry, guys, somebody was ringing me. Well, the first thing, as I already mentioned, is having a mechanism, a book, a calendar, something that you can use that where to go to get that data. So once the data is out of your mind and onto the paper, right? You're not carrying it around like mental baggage anymore. You need to be able to find the paper or the program wherever you put it. Okay. Because that would be just like my calendar is for me. That would be very instructive to tell you now what to do. Again, the bridge between procrastination and done is what? Decision. So indecision, we could also say would persist if we can't access the data. Those were the decisions I made, right? Hence, look at the calendar. Hence, look at the to-do list, right? So these are now I know what to do. Because again, the times when and you can all see this is very relevant in everyone's life. When the times when you've not known what to do, you've hesitated, you've procrastinated, you've sat there in a state of inactivity, right? That was all based on indecision. I mean, had you decided, you would have acted, right? So this is the biggest thing for me. The biggest thing in terms of time efficiency and actually getting stuff done in life is knowing what to do. Which I guess brings me to the next point. What if you're in a condition with whatever project, business, something where you don't know what to do? Well, you damn well better learn. Here's a perfect example. Bam, perfect example. So I've got some new people who are learning how to use a presentation system. So this is basically a sales tool where the guest, the prospective customer, right, would come and get the tour, the exhibits, and then the sales pitch and all that. And so it's a tool that has a few moving parts. Okay, but it's not, nobody's going to get a brain hernia or anything. But if you're brand new, if you've never logged into that website and touched the machinery, then I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. How effective are you going to be as the salesperson if you are fumbling with buttons and, again, indecision? I don't know what to do. Is it this button? Is it that button? What should I show them next? What does that video do? Right? That's called indecision. That's how it looks. Okay. And so how fluid would that be? Not good at all. Not good for who? Not good for the customer. People like to buy from people who know what they're doing, right? And so what I tell people is, here's your training. Here's your training. Log into the system, click on everything, go through it however many times you need to go through it to sell it to yourself. And then when you've got the sales pitch, even though you're not actually pitching it, you're just clicking buttons and doing a demo basically. But once you've got it to the point where you know what it all is, now you're qualified to go have a conversation with Joe Public. Okay. And that's whether we're talking about, in this case, machinery, software, whatever, or we're talking about let's say that you were actually, in an environment where you're selling a product to a customer, right? A lot of guys, I was in car dealerships for a while, and so when a customer comes in to drop $50,000 on a solution to their transportation problem, they've got lots of choices, right? And they're going to make one decision probably for the next 3 to 5 years. Right. So you either help them make that decision or somebody else will. So how did I induce decision on the part of Mr. and Mrs. Public? Right. I sold myself the car. The last, in fact, it was the last job I ever had was in a Ford dealership. Ford. Right. Sold a lot of pickup trucks and Mustangs and whatever else, right? But the Ford F-150 is the most prolific truck in the world. Like you go anywhere and find a Ford F-150. And so you know how many F-150s I've owned in my life? Zero. Okay, but that's not my transportation problem. That's your transportation problem, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. Okay. So, John, go sell yourself a Ford F-150. Get the brochures. Drive the friggin' truck. Touch it. Smell it. Lick it. Right? You need to be Captain Ford over here. Okay. And so I got it. That's what that is. By the way, in the world of pickup trucks, there's a lot to know. Right? It's not like, oh, what kind of engine do you want? Do you want the big or the little engine in your Mustang? Right? That's kind of cool. We get the leather seats, whatever. Once you get into trucks, now we're into specifications, tow ratings, and blah, blah, blah. Right? There's lots of thought that goes into that. But anyway, I sold a lot of F-150s. Why? Because I'm sold myself. I know that product. I'm decisive about that product. Okay. Actually, I'm in the market for a truck now. And it's not going to be an F-150. It's going to be a Ram. I love the Ram. Okay, very good. Now you know. So if anybody wants to give me a $70,000 gift, Ram 1500 limited, black on black with black. All right? Just in case you're vague about what color I would choose. All right. But you get the point, right? The point is that I'm sold myself. Whether we're talking about the decisions that I'm making in terms of what am I going to do in my life, what's my 24 hours, or we're talking about causing someone else to move, right? To buy, to decide, right? To participate. It all comes down to decisiveness on the part of he who is causing whatever movement or failing to cause the movement. So whether I'm looking to move myself or I'm looking to move you, I've got to be decisive. And I've got to know what those decisions are. And I can't be walking around with them. Well, I can be, and I've done it. Okay. Walking around with them as mental baggage, right? They should be knowns. And I've heard that, what was the saying? I think this was from the 10 Commandments movie, the 10 Commandments. So let it be written, so let it be done, right? Is that it?
So it is written, so it is done.
Oh, there you go, right? So the corollary to that is, well, if it's not written, well, doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So write it down, damn it. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you for listening to whatever this was. And who's got some thoughts on this decisiveness and creating order in our minds and on our calendars and to-do lists? Anybody? Does this work for you? I see Bob, Missy. Hey, there's Missy. Hey, Missy.
It certainly does. And Ivier got into my cells with her talk yesterday. And so two of my good friends here and we're going to account each other, hold ourselves accountable. And because I haven't been able to move right, because I don't have the proper system in place. That is what my problem is, the proper system. I have a calendar, but it's not holding it all in because I can't get it all in because I got a sticky note over here and a piece of paper over here, and it doesn't work. So it causes me to feel like I'm flailing and treading water. And that's a horrible feeling. And then it's in my mind and not getting done. And certain things you can't be imperfect on, like say designing a mug. You can't have a big black mark on it or something like that. So, but this was just so apropos and so important at just the right time, because we're meeting a little bit later to talk about these things and figure out how we're going to get these things done. So thank you again.
That's great. So you're taking action on this, right? And I guess Ivier prompted some of that yesterday. Boy, Ivier's on fire lately, huh? She's like screaming into the microphone,
Competitive or
over
something.
tables and
She's
stuff.
excited.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, all these ideas are nice to talk about, but my goodness, when we use them, wow, results. Yeah, it's pretty great. Good times. Catherine, Daisy, Edward, Gail, Giovanna, Janet, Lindsay, Virginia. Any other thoughts on this idea of being decisive and writing it down? Okay. So then, we're gonna have a brief session today. Thursdays are kind of interesting for me because we used to have Mark Riggle hosting Thursday sessions. And I don't know where he's been lately. I know he's been helping his wife with her doctor's office stuff. But Mark is one of the original core members of this group. And I'll have to track him down. And then let's see, we also have Shannon, who would typically host every other Thursday. And obviously she's got her hands full right now as well. But tomorrow, Fun Friday. By the way, we also have, just so you guys who are really into the books, just so you know, we have Books for Britain. That happened yesterday. The recordings are posted. But Books for Britain happens on Wednesdays, and they're right now in Joe Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. So in case you want to revisit that from another angle, that happens during daytime hours here in the US, evening in the UK, early morning for our Australian friends. Okay, so that's also available to all of our members here. And with that, I don't think I have any other announcements. I will say this though, I want to do something special. Giovanna, what are we going over Monday? The book club? Oh, yes, Giovanna, we are mid Neville Goddard, The Law and the Promise. We've read 6 chapters of 15. So chapters 7, 8, and 9 are coming up this Monday for The Law and the Promise. And if you just log into your Success Mastermind website, you can see under the books, resources, books, right? There's all the books. There's links right to it. I think it's $2 or something on Kindle. You might be able to download a freebie too somewhere. I don't know. I got the Kindle. So yeah, The Law and the Promise by Neville, which I will have to acknowledge once again, Missy, one of our newer members here, for recommending, because I've read other books by Neville. I've never read that one. And Missy is a hardcore Nevilleite. Oh, did I just coin a word? A Nevilleite. Wow. See that? Words, baby. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll go ahead and wrap up with that. I'll see you all again here tomorrow. Make it a great day. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.